Hi everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Mary.
And we're Book Buds. And today we're going to tell you our Middle Grade March TBR. Middle Grade March was created by Books and Jams and The Curly Reader.
And Life Between Words. And we've got 5 prompts for it. So the first one, we're just going to jump right in. A book with 5 or more words in the title. Which one did you pick for that?
Oh, it's my turn already?
Well, I mean, I can go first.
I can't remember exactly.
This one has a lot more than 5 words. Was it this one?
No.
No.
It's Danny, the Champion of the World by Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. I cannot say this author's name. Roald Dahl.
So I like this author. I've read many of his books. I've had this at home, and as I was searching my shelves for this prompt, I was like, well, here's a good excuse to read this Danny, the Champion of the World one.
Yeah.
Don't know what it's about, going in blind, but I love him and his illustrations, so I'm sure I'm going to like it.
Absolutely.
What about you?
Good. I really need to read the next in the Percy Jackson series. So the next one for me is The Battle of the Labyrinth.
Good title.
So Percy Jackson, he's always off on some adventure, and he's a half-blooded, like, demigod thing. Like,
okay.
He's the son of a god. Okay.
Got it. Yep.
So his dad's Poseidon. Shh. I mean, like, book 1. Shh.
Spoiler alert from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 15.
But they all live in Camp Half-Blood, which is like their home base where they belong and they feel safe and whatever. And Camp Half-Blood is very protected. You can't have like demonic things and whatever come and penetrate that spot. But in this book, it's at risk and there's some serious stuff going down. So Percy always goes off on some kind of quest. I think you would like Percy Jackson because you like the idea of like the traveling quest where you're like going on some journey. And so that's what's happening yet again. And they are dealing with Kronos in this one and his army, and they have to go through a labyrinth and have a lot of surprises at every turn. So my daughter absolutely wants me to read this. She loves all of these, and she's tearing far through ahead of me in this. All the other series and all that. Series is.
Incorrect.
I can't say series.
Just series.
Series.
You don't pluralize
I know,
series.
but I do.
You can't.
I know.
It's not kosher.
But anyway, so I need to read this one.
Yes, sounds great. I love a good labyrinth.
Yeah.
Twists and turns and mazes. Love
Absolutely.
it.
Next prompt is a book featuring an orphan as the main character.
Okay. The video that I saw Middle Grade March in, she had chosen The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. And I was like, oh, I have that. So this is perfect. I want to read that. You love this book.
You should read it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get into this one.
It's funny, when I saw the video and she said that this as her choice, I was like, that's not a middle grade book. And then I'm looking at it and it says here, like, this award, it's for American, like, children's literature. I'm like, oh, it is a kid's book? I don't know. The beginning of this book was terrifying. Really terrifying. The rest of the book, fine, middle grade, okay. But the beginning was like...
He's like in the cemetery being raised by all the spirits, right?
Yeah, it's really cute.
Cool.
And then it's kind of intense too. There's murder and mayhem happening as well. So yeah, it's a very good read.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm excited. What's yours?
Mine is, I would like to read The Bad Beginning, which is the first in the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket.
Okay.
And I know there's been a movie and there's been like a mini Netflix thing from it.
Those are like really tiny as well, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Like that other
like
one that
100 something pages each maybe. And I don't know how big of a book it is. But there's 3 kids and they are orphaned. Their parents die in a fire and they are sent to live with Count Olaf, and he's after their inheritance. And it just sounds like terrible things happen no matter what they end up trying to do. But it's described as humorous and just like a little bit dark, so I'm kind of intrigued. And since there's been like a movie and everything and everybody seems to really like it, I feel like I should read them, right?
A series of unfortunate events.
Series is.
A series is of unfortunate events.
I can say series there. It feels right there.
It feels right there because it's many series of unfortunate events.
It's a series. See, it's not pluralized. A series of unfortunate events. So a series feels correct, but there's lots of series of unfortunate events.
It like makes me cringe. Series. Oh, lordy lo.
So that's my orphan one.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if I love those books. I think I read the first few.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe I'll just try it, and there's 13 of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'll read all 13. All right, next we have a contemporary book. You got a contemporary book?
I do. You're holding it.
That one?
Okay. So The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. So remember last year I had that video where my friend who works in the city gave me all the books that her school was reading?
Yep.
Well, this is another one that she gave me. I prompted her. I'm like, I need more books from you. I want to know what your kids are reading. So she gave me this one. So I'm excited to get into this. In a world of danger and loss, Julia faces surprising developments in herself and in her personal world. I think there's a lot of symbolism. But we'll find out. I don't know. It's intriguing.
Okay. Let us know.
What about you, Mary?
I was thinking of reading Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberg Sloan. So this book my daughter just read. She's in 7th grade, and it was one that they made them read in school. She didn't seem to enjoy it, but as she was reading it and I heard the title and she said Counting by Sevens, I just turned to her and I said, oh, does this girl have like a hard time coping with things? Does she need to do something to distract herself and soothe and like count by sevens to calm herself down? My daughter looked at me like I was like this mind reader. She's like, how did you know that? Like, I know a little bit about mental health.
Just a bit.
So that was really funny.
That's cool.
But so I wanted to look into it, and it's about a 12-year-old girl who she doesn't really fit in with her peers because she's kind of obsessed with nature and diagnosing medical conditions, and the only people that she can really talk to are her parents. And then they die in a car accident, and so she's left having to work through her grief and the change of life and whatnot. But I don't typically like to read something that's very sad, and this book is described as not sad, even though she's dealing with her grief. It's kind of like the joy of her journey. Like it's she's not really suffering, she's coping and surviving, and it sounds like it's kind of uplifting and endearing. So I might check that out.
Yeah, that does sound good.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is a book set in Asia or featuring an Asian main character.
All right, I got a good one by Lloyd Alexander, one of my favorite authors, The Golden Dream of Carlo Chuchio. This is an Arabian Nights-like novel, and the main character goes on a treasure hunt, but does the treasure really exist? We don't know.
Okay, intriguing. Mine I picked based on the cover, and there's a girl holding a lantern, and it made me think of the movie Tangled when they put all the lanterns in the sky, and it's just so beautiful and I love it. So I was drawn to it for that reason. These lanterns are actually very sad but significant. So the story is called Soul Lanterns by Shaw Kuski, and it's about a 12-year-old Japanese girl who's trying to understand the meaning that is put into these lanterns when they are celebrating and remembering people that have died in Hiroshima. And so people come together and they put names of people that they're remembering or different feelings that they're having. They write it on paper and they put it in the lantern and they send it up.
How touching.
Really, very touching. However, she discovers that her mom every year sends one up with nothing written on it. So it gets into the struggles that people have that are things that you don't even necessarily see or really understand, and the compassion that we need to have and the need for peace. So it sounds like a potentially very moving story, and I would be interested to check it out.
You're very good at this. You sell books very well. I was sitting here like, wow, you really just...
Joe's like, I'm going to read all of Mary's books.
You said that very well.
Thank you, Joseph. Okay, and the last one is a book that is older than you.
I love books that are older than me. This is The Children of Green No by L.M. Boston, written in 1955, and I just happen to have this on my shelf. And this is about like an old, scary, dusty house, and the caretaker of the house is like an old grandmother whose storytelling mixes present and past with the most ancient magic.
That sounds good. Cute.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have one?
All right, I do have one. Anne of Green Gables, written in 1908 by L.M. Montgomery.
That's a good one.
Now, I have watched all of the Anne of Green Gables shows, the movies. So I know the entire story.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I should read the book. I don't know if there's too many people out there that don't know the story of Anne of Green Gables, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway, just in case, because if you don't know the story, then you either want to read the book or watch the movie. Anne Shirley. I love Anne Shirley. She is an 11-year-old orphan, and she is sent off to live with this brother and sister who have a farm. So it's Matthew and Marilla. And Marilla is a very stern, the sister of these two. She does not smile. And they are not happy because they wanted a boy to come and work the farm, and they needed help because they're getting older. And here this redheaded little thing shows up on their door with her pigtails, and they're like, this is not what we ordered. And so Anne, you know, who's hopeful, is just then distraught, you know, that she's not wanted, but she stays. And some love grows in this family, and it's just such a beautiful story. I would love to see what it's like reading it. You know, I'm kind of sad that I've seen all the movies first because I feel like that's going to kind of ruin the book for me. But if there's anybody out there that hasn't read or watched this, I feel like you need to. It's so heartwarming.
And I'd like to give a special shout out to the audiobook for this, because recently I listened to this because my friend is obsessed with it and I wanted to kind of like get into more classic or older style books, whatever. Rachel McAdams reads it, and she does such a good job. Like, I hadn't seen anything, read anything, didn't know anything about Anne of Green Gables, and you know, I just listened to the first one and it was hysterical, it was heartwarming, like it was funny, it was sad, it was just everything. It was cool. It was a good experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a really nice story. Sounds like a fun narrator.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
All right, so this is our middle grade reading. What do you guys think? Are any of you reading some middle grade books for March? Let us know.
I'm really into middle grade books, so I'm so excited to have found this prompt. This is our first middle grade TBR. Do you realize that?
I mean, we read middle grade all the time, but it is a middle grade TBR. He's
First
excited.
one. Can't wait to see what yours are. So if you're enjoying Book Buds, give us a thumbs up.
And share us with your friends.
And subscribe to our channel, Book Buds!
Keep watching. The bloopers are next. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.
Oh my god, I'm about to fucking
What's happening?
this fucking idiotic thing.
Your post-it?
Hey, where the fuck did it go? I just had it in my stupid hand.
Here, like here?
Did I fucking drop it? It had the idiot